329 days, that is 47 weeks since President Buhari was sworn in, and the nation has waited for him to present his budget. But when he did, it's now 122 days, 17 weeks and 3 days since President Buhari presented budget proposal to the joint session of the National Assembly. What about since National Assembly passed the budget? It is 30 days. That means 4 weeks and 2 days. And since the clerk of the National Assembly transmitted the past budget details to the presidency, it is now 16 days, 2 weeks and 2 days. Well, to make sense of the matter now, I've been joined by Mr. Sir Ken Okolibo. He's a knight of the Catholic Church. All right, a political analyst, and Mr. Benga Onitilo, a policy analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Of the Anglican Church.
Of the Anglican Church. Interesting. Many thanks. But first and foremost, let's quickly hear from the spokesperson of the House of Representatives acknowledging the receipt of a letter from the President and the plans of the National Assembly.
I want to confirm to you today that the Speaker actually met with the President, and we are in possession of the letter from Mr. President identifying areas of concern. That is not in doubt, it is with us. However, you are already aware that the House, whatever we do in the House, will receive concurrence in the Senate before it becomes law. In view of that, our leaders in the House of Representatives and that of the Senate have met on the matter, and they've agreed, the both houses, they are going to meet the President this week. And we are hopeful that soon after that meeting, all things will be concluded, and by the grace of God, this budget will be signed into law. It is our hope. So far, this is what I can say as in regards to the budget. And I want to tell you that we are aware of what is happening to the leadership of the National Assembly, that is the Senate President. We believe in the rule of law. We believe too that every Nigerian will remain innocent until proven guilty. We stand for whatever law on the side of the law.
That's the spokesperson of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abdulrazak Namdas, stating that they've acknowledging that they've received the letter from the President. So where do we go from here? How long more should we wait for the President to assent to it? All right, let me start with you, Mr. Okolibo. From this point on, it looks like literally the President has returned the budget details to the National Assembly. What does this mean?
Well, basically, the truth about it is, when you look at the budget, no matter how you want to be sentimental about it, the budget is that for the executive. And the President has looked at the budget, and there are certain parameters that you see in a budget. For example, the hula bolo about the Calabar and the Calabar stroke Lagos rail project. There are key projects that you need to use in touching the lives of the people. And by the time you look at your budget and your budget has been distorted, I'm saying this from experience. I mean, I've been a public officer and I've had a budget, and I feel very bad when my budget comes back from the House of Assembly and is distorted. So there's no gainsaying about it. I wouldn't want to not to share in the pain of the President. It's always very painful, because when you've laid a plan and these are your plans and your plans are distorted, for the first time people might be shocked, but I'm aligning with the President on this. There's no way you can sign that kind of budget into law. Because if you sign it into law, there are three implications. The three implications is that now, I'm happy I heard about the framework of the 2017 budget.
It's been set already.
It's been set already, because he has lost 4 months. I was listening to Femi Adesina on your program, and he was saying that government is a continuum. Yes, government is a continuum, and he was running he was only running on the budget of Jonathan. He wasn't running on his own budget. But his own budget is a change he promised Nigerians, which they haven't seen yet. And basically, if he doesn't sign that budget between now and the first week of May, it therefore means that we have lost a quarter already in the year. You were very correct when you said that in that program. We've lost a quarter in the year, and from June is when we're going to be talking about implementation. And by September, October, we're expecting him to send his budget of 2017 back to the House. So what are we talking about here?
Well, yeah, I mean, the National Assembly has said, look, for them, they are, I mean, we have the spokesperson of the Senate saying, look, for them, they're done with the budget. If the president wants to add anything, he needs to do a supplementary budget. But this is against what the National Assembly wanted before now.
Well,
could there be any more stalemate?
Looking at it, Shehu, what they did is they are supposed to appropriate. You don't create heads. They created heads. They created 18 heads. 18 heads is a lot for you to create in one department, in agriculture. Then you create heads and fund those heads. You can deduct. You're allowed to deduct. Do you understand? You're allowed to say that this project is not a priority project. But you don't create heads and now appropriate funds to those heads. I stand against that. It is their power to appropriate funds, but you don't create heads for the president. That is usurping his powers.
Mr. Onitilo,
yes.
The National Assembly has said, look, do not blame us. You brought a badly prepared budget, which of course even the executive agreed that the budget initially was badly prepared. Padding and the rest of it happened to the point that the president came down hard on the budget office. But this time around, it's sent it back to them. What does it portray? What kind of image does it give the executive, for example? Because the legislature, before this time, they've been waiting for a showdown, sort of.
Yeah, thank you, Shehu. What is happening right now shows some level of grandstanding by the National Assembly, and it also shows lack of capacity to understand the key agenda of a nation at this critical time. It's more.
Is it their fault?
No.
Shehu,
like Ken rightly alluded to, you have the power of appropriation to reallocate funds to say, okay, this are not critical items, we can move funds from here to here, but not for you to create new line items. For example, one of the most critical projects, the Lagos-Calabar rail project, which is said to be able to create close to over 1 million jobs and touch maybe about 17 states. You are talking about a project that can touch 17 states, and you are now not allocating the resources that is supposed to be used to implement such projects.
They said he was not there in the first
but there was another one, the Kaduna-Idu project as well, where you took away a chunk of about 8.7 billion, a project that was nearing completion, and you took away about 8.7 billion, and which will further limit the capacity to finish such projects. Then you now go to the one of the water, agric and water resources that you have to take funds away from and move to rural projects, constituency projects. Do they actually have the legal power to recreate new items?
Can you blame the National Assembly? If they said, look, the executive has done a bad job, a shoddy job at that.
No.
And they are going to fix it.
We keep flogging a dead horse. By this time, we have moved away from that item. Now something has been presented to you. We have moved away from keep flogging a dead horse.
What is told the presidency, bring a supplementary budget.
No.
We are done with this one.
Like Ken rightly said, I work in the private sector as well. We work with the airlines. Airlines give you marketing budgets. If we say, come up with your marketing budget, you are the one working in the territory. By the time you push the budget and somebody takes away about 60 to 70% of your budget, how are you going to get the market share from the other airlines? It affects your planning, your organization. So how are you going to deliver in the key agenda, the change agenda you have promised to Nigerians, when you have a National Assembly that have refused to sync with the interest of the nation rather than their own agenda?
I mean, Ken, you're more of a politician. He's more of a private sector person. But then, in this sense, I see some people have said there is a gap of politics, because in budgeting also, you need to play, lobbying needs to take place for you to have some of these figures passed. Do you see that lacuna of politicking in the side of the executive in this sense?
But it's very clear that there's a disconnect in terms of APC is a government in power, APC is in control of the Senate and APC is in control of the House of Rep. Why I say there is a disconnect? There's a disconnect because the president shouldn't be having issues like this when he's in control of the National Assembly. He should be able to
when his party is in control.
He's in control. He's the leader of the party, so he's in control. Do you understand? As the leader of the party, like you rightly said,
but does it look like he has a political control at the moment?
He doesn't look like he has a political control. That's why I find it quite strange. You should be able to get Saraki and Dogara seated together and tell them that this is what I want. This is the change agenda we promised. You guys that will be when we went to Nigerians to tell them that this is what we want. And this is what we want to implement. And whether you like it or not, Saraki and Dogara have at least 75% of the influence on their colleagues. And by the time they sit with their colleagues, they will breathe it down their neck that this is what the president has told us and this is the way we should go. Not like he's dictating per se, but there is this what you call camaraderie between them, being party members, being people in control of the party. These are the reasons why Nigerians are likely saying that the APC government does not seem to be in grasp of power. They just preach change and they are not exhibiting it. Because it is shocking that, I mean, we've been going from pillar to post. We've all had you know my stand on the budget. I've said it in this program before now. You know I have my critics against the budget. But like he rightly said, we have moved beyond that. We are moving at the stage of implementation. And it is very sad at this material point in time that the president can be crying over certain items that are very key to him that have been taken away from the budget. And now he's having to return the budget back to the National Assembly. Let them not go into the hola bola of the way the budget was padded. That is a bygone. The budget has been cleaned out and it has been presented to the House. What they need to do now is to impute those things back. One person cannot appropriate 4 billion to his constituency because he's the chairman of appropriation. Okay, now it's very wrong.
For example, look at what is happening now. The National Assembly, through the spokesperson of the House, has said we will meet with the president and the executive.
You know why they're doing this, Shehu? They're doing this because Nigerians have cried out. Yeah. Initially, look at the reaction of Jibrin. I mean, Jibrin is somebody I don't know, but I hear him and I look at him as one young politician that has a future. But I was totally disappointed. His initial statement was so indicting of the executive that one wouldn't have even known that he was one of those that were the culprits in terms of the budget distortion. And they were even crying that Amechi should resign until Benga Ashafa came to his rescue and said this thing was in the budget. So it looks like a divided house. And these are all APC members.
What do you see? I find it very strange. What do you, because way forward now, what do you see, or would you prefer as a solution, a way forward between now and early next week?
You know what they need to do now? I'm a politician and I've held public office. I have done budgeting. Whether you like it or not, like you said, lobbying, you can't help it. There must be either a committee set up if the president doesn't want to meet with Dogara and Saraki face to face, but there must be liaison. The liaison officers, this is their duty to
when you have Senator Itaian.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is their duty.
This is their job.
This is their job, and I'm wondering what they are not doing their job. Senator Itaian is
to me is zero. This kind of headache.
He should never. Senator Itaian is someone who has been in the House of Rep for almost 3 tenures before he came into the Senate, and he was in the House of Assembly here in Akwa Ibom. But I give him thumbs down on this issue. He has not done his duties. He has not been able to act as a liaison to the president.
I think with what is happening in the leadership of the Senate, is he Senator? Is it not a difficult task?
I think the president got a wrong man for the job.
That is it.
He got a man that does not have the capacity the capacity or the platform to be able to influence.
This is someone who spent.
No, it doesn't matter. Shehu, it doesn't matter. What it means is that this is politics. You are talking about horse trading. In America, people earn millions of dollars playing as lobbyists for the presidency. So what it means, the president appointed, maybe based on politics, the wrong person to be his liaison person with the National Assembly, with the 2 chambers. Some of these things, the major issue is this. You don't do the horse trading while you have sent the budget.
And you have a former senator as a minister of budget.
No, these things.
One would think that they just easier.
I mean, you're very correct, Senator Dodoma. But you see, it's not the job of Senator Dodoma, Shehu. It is the job of Itaian. Itaian has failed and he should resign.
Well, if
he should resign, that's the truth about it.
Itaian is not playing his role well, what of Senator Dodoma?
That's what we're saying. He is a minister in charge.
Dodoma is a minister.
He's not in charge of that.
He's not the liaison. He can only appeal to their conscience.
Shehu, the president
the
here
truth.
got somebody that doesn't have enough political influence within the National Assembly. That's
Really?
what is happening, yes.
In the Tenang?
That's it.
That's what's happening.
What do you
Because
think is the way forward for
Shehu,
them?
I think right now the president needs to give a mandate to whoever this Eta Eyang is to get this sorted out, or he issues a mandate that he leaves that office. Right.